Hey, crypto family. Hope y'all are doing good. So it's nice to see Bitcoin is at least stable at 5,400. Rather have it be stable than declining like it was a couple days ago. Although the thing to see here is altcoins are actually having an inverse correlation with Bitcoin, which I mentioned a couple videos ago. If they have an inverse correlation, it could be an indication of an alt run soon. But again, I don't want to jump to conclusions. But having that inverse correlation kind of precludes to the fact that they're kind of getting their own stride, so to speak. Some are up 7-8%, some are down a couple percent, so really there's no strong correlation one way or the other, which is good to see. I'd rather have altcoins independent of one another versus just following Bitcoin blindly. So looking at the Bitcoin chart here on the daily chart, we can see Bitcoin is still continuing to hold around this 5320 level. Now looking at the 4-hour chart gives us a little bit more fidelity here. You can see that it bounced off that 50-day moving average and continues to stay above that. Now, if it breaks below this and the 128-day at 5,200, then again, look out. We may look to be testing this 200-day at 5,100 or the support at 5,000. So it's imperative that we just at least stay above this 5,300 mark to where we can continue to climb and then ultimately test this 5,500 resistance that has provided strong resistance for the past couple of weeks. So we're going to see what happens with that. Again, the RSI not really moving too much, still a little overbought, but could still go either way. So very low volume right now, not much going on. It looks like people are just kind of waiting because they're not sure which way it's going to go. So still a lot of uncertainty, but again, if you're not sure what to do, just hold, maybe buy now, then buy half later, but not investment advice, just my opinion. Now, looking at the first article here is an article by Cointelegraph, and it says Coinbase shifting focus due to growing institutional investor interest in crypto. So you always hear, there's institutions waiting on the sidelines, and finally Coinbase is coming out and actually changing their business model to cater to these institutional investors. So it says, firstly, news broke last week that Coinbase has filed to close its Political Action Committee, PAC, with the American Federal Election Commission. A quick look at the filing and balance sheet shows that Coinbase's PAC did not receive any funding and made no payments in 2019. Now, I like this initiative by Coinbase to close out their PAC because really, I think, any crypto company that gets political, that a lot of people don't like politics in crypto, or really politics in anything. It's just causes a lot of divide and it causes a lot of basically just a lot of animosity, if you're on the other side of that political spectrum. And for Coinbase to actually, shut down this PAC, then I believe that that's good. They can actually, welcome all customers and no one feels dissuaded by them because they're giving money to this political candidate or this political candidate, etc. So good on them. And right now it says, in a reply to Cointelegraph, it would not divulge why the company had initially set up a PAC, nor the main reason why it has now decided to shut down the group less than a year after it was initially created. But they do say that they were focusing more on their business practices and kind of changing their focus. It says, Southers told Cointelegraph that the company is making a concerted effort to meet the needs of a growing number of institutions that are lining up to enter the crypto system. So it's good to know that, institutions are coming into the system more and more. Right now, their custody business has over 700 million in customer assets, and then Coinbase Pro now has 44 actively traded order books and has users across 53 countries. So really, Coinbase is trying to become that center name that everyone thinks about when investing or when storing their cryptos. So it's good to see that they are, dealing with these big players and more people are starting to come into the market. So good news and maybe some foreshadowing in the future to see, possibly we could be going higher towards the end of the year. Now, the next article I want to talk about is payment platform Square. And one of the big things, it says their Bitcoin revenue is high, but their crypto profits are low. So it says in Q1 2019, their Bitcoin revenue was 65.5 million. And Bitcoin cost for the same period was 64.7 million. So that's only a profit of 830,000. And then in the fourth quarter of 2018, it was a profit of only roughly 100,000. So it is increasing, but again, there's such tight margins that it's really hard to maintain that profit. But I do think that as they get more and more customers, that profit will be a lot more. But again, It's still tough for companies to make a profit with cryptos, especially if they're smaller, but it's good to see at least Square is showing a lot of revenue coming through, and at least, they are getting that strong customer base and just adding on to their platform. So it's something I wanted to point out. And then also, it says the cryptocurrency payment service provider BitPay reported in January $1 billion worth of transactions this past year. And in late 2018, BitPay's CEO claimed that he expects mass Bitcoin adoption to come in 3 to 5 years. That'd be 2021 to 2023. And then it says Bitcoin's chief commercial officer in November predicted Bitcoin's price will soar between 15,000 to 20,000 by the end of 2019. So, it'd be nice if that happens. I know right now a lot of people aren't as bullish. Maybe reach 10,000 by the end of this year. But again, we're going to have to see what happens. But it's good to see, some CEOs from big companies are showing these numbers and predicting these numbers. So hopefully it comes sooner than we think. And then one more news article is one by Crypto Coin News, and it talks about Goldman Sachs and their involvement in cryptocurrency. And basically right now it says they're waiting on government backing before they support crypto. So as you know, Goldman Sachs was in the news last year about possibly making a crypto trading desk or, holding crypto for their clients, and the crypto trading desk turned to be not true, but it still says here that they are really interested in crypto. And Martin Chavez, who's the global co-head of the securities division at Goldman Sachs, outlined that we shouldn't expect to see the investment bank get more involved with crypto until it has a solid backing. We still have things that take overnight or a couple days. The service level agreement is not where we want it, but so there's no question in my mind that there's super interesting technology there. So they know the technology is there. They know that they want to invest, but they're just waiting on that government backing, because then that will provide more. You could say it'll provide more like a safer, asset, so to speak, for their clients, and just more backing to where it's actually, backed by something versus just being quote unquote, that underground currency or something that is not really seen as reputable in a lot of investors' eyes. So I can see where they're coming from. But again, the government getting involved in stuff, it didn't really hold true for that Tether debacle. There's a lot of stuff around that where the government intervened. So I think really it's just getting that open view of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to where, they're not seen as a negative and more as a positive change for the future. So hopefully they'll come around sooner or later, and then, Goldman Sachs will start to get into the cryptocurrency space and, start more adoption into that space. And then last but not least is an article about Bank of America and how they're concerned about cryptocurrency transactions and securing a patent for risk assessment. So long story short, say you have a debit card of Bank of America linked to Coinbase. Basically, they're filing this patent to be able to monitor those transactions more closely and create an algorithm where it basically calculates your risk that's taken. So this is more so if like you have a large transaction that you buy on Coinbase or sell, or any exchange in general, or use your debit card, but they're trying to track, suspicious activity. And that's something to keep in mind if you are using a card from Bank of America, credit card or debit card. Again, just keep that in mind. They're filing this patent, and it says, according to the April 30th filing with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the patent granted to BOA is primed on a risk detection system specifically geared towards virtual currencies. On the basis of the system, a risk score will be levied on cryptocurrency transactions between a customer and a third party. So, really, I don't know what they're going to do with this. If they could possibly cancel the transaction. If they want to find more information about it, they can get that. I don't know exactly the specifics, but they are just wanting to be more safe with it. So I know a lot of people don't like to be tracked. So, but they're just trying to make it safer and track for suspicious activity, quote unquote. So, it's something, something to see if more banks implement this. But again, if you don't want to be tracked, possibly use a different credit card with a different company that doesn't have, a patent like this. But again, not advice, just my opinion. So with that, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, comment if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. Till next time, thanks for watching.